The coral reefs of Sri Lanka. The coral reefs are a provider of food and a habitat for many different species. The coral reefs are an important part of the food chain since many of the animals feed on it, like the parrotfish. The coral reefs come in many different shapes and sizes. However, there are four main categories that we can all put them in. They are boulder corals, which kind of looks like a brain. Branching corals, it looks like the branches of a tree. Plate coral, a large surface area covered by flat coral that looks a bit like a big plate. Soft coral, easily breakable and not hard. The problem we are facing, though, is that due to the increase of water temperatures in our world's oceans, the coral is dying. This is due to the fact that the coral needs algae to survive. The algae gives the coral food and keeps it healthy. It also provides the coral's color. When the water temperature rises, the algae go away. When this happens, the situation is known as coral bleaching. This means that when the algae are removed, the coral can no longer provide food for itself and it turns a white color. Another major problem that we are facing is that the sea is becoming more acid. This is because chemicals are being dumped in the water from our world's factories. Another indicator of an unhealthy reef is if you see this animal called the crown of thorns. It's a type of starfish. This animal only occurs when the coral is unhealthy. Fishing nets and anchors also destroy the coral reefs. Coral in Sri Lanka was largely affected due to the tsunami of 2004, December 26th. It was not the initial wave that broke the coral, but the current that dragged all the substances on the beach back into the water. The research we found showed that boulder coral was the most common type of coral. This is a graph explaining that the boulder coral is most known. Coral color shows that if the coral is healthy. The darker the color, the more healthy it is. The following graphs show the average coral color. Each graph represents a different color. The colors are E, D, B, C. Under each letter, it has a number between 1 to 6. 6 means healthy and 1 means unhealthy. This is the chart for coral D. As you can see, D3 is the most common color. This graph shows for coral C. In this graph, C4 is the most common color. Coral B, in this graph it's a tie between B3 and B4. And finally, for coral E, E3 is the most common color. With this information we have gathered, we can say that Sri Lanka's corals are mildly healthy. However, this can change if we do not take care of our corals. The economic implications are that the coral restoration is not expensive and you do not need an expert to restore the coral reefs. Trying to stop global warming means you are trying to stop the coral from being extinct. You can also help by trying out some coral restoration programs. Thank you, and save the corals.